Hey guys, and welcome to my stimulus package update and stimulus check update. Wow, I haven't said those words in so long. I want you guys to know that I missed you more than you missed me, and I'm happy I'm back here for you with another video just to give you my perspective on everything that's been going on.
Today was actually a pretty big day when it comes to information, so of course there were a bunch of people out talking about this, and I want to share some of those remarks with you in this video. So first off, let's talk about the president and what he said earlier today. So the president was out earlier today talking about the inflation data that was released this morning, as we talked about in that first video. He recognized that this inflation data and increases in prices are causing stress at the kitchen table. He also went on to say they are using every tool in their toolbox. Well, I'm thinking that their toolbox must be kind of empty. It actually reminded me of when I was a kid. My dad used to always tell me, use the right tool for the job and it makes it a lot easier. So it kind of makes me think that maybe they have the wrong tools in their toolbox, because they're certainly not doing a whole lot about these prices that continue to rise every single month. But President Biden also went on to assure us that prices will be coming down by when? Tomorrow? No. By the end of the year is what he said. So good thing we're only a month and a half into the year so far, because that means we have another 10 and a half months to go, according to the president. So, wow. But anyway, that's what he said earlier today, so just rest assured they're using their tools in an empty toolbox, I guess. I don't know. But my point is, yes, I'm being a little bit critical, but honestly, the deal is this is such a critical situation right now with everything going on. They need to do something a little more quickly. Sitting on our hands like this and doing nothing after we see inflation raging like this, month after month after month like this, people are having a hard time right now. I mean, they've got to get a grip on this like fast, right? They've got to come up with a solution, and honestly, they know what the solution is, right? They know there's multiple different ways out of this, and that's why I said earlier, we've got to cross our fingers right now and only hope that Congress can come together and say, okay, this inflation's going to be around for a long time now. Let's at least get a payment out to the people. Let's help those ones out that are struggling so incredibly badly right now. And for those higher income people, well, you just have to stick it out and just kind of, live your life and just do what you can for now. But let's look out for the lower income and the fixed income. I don't know. That's how I look at it anyway. Let's look out for the people who are struggling so badly right now. And for the higher income people, I just feel like, you know what? You're probably good, It's a little bit going to be difficult, but they're not the ones that are struggling so badly like the low income and the fixed income. All right. So let's talk about Joe Manchin for a minute, because he was also out earlier today as well, making some statements, yes, about this inflation situation. He's calling on the Federal Reserve to tackle this issue right away, and he's also calling on them to start lowering some of this inflation right now, because the Federal Reserve has the ability to raise interest rates, but realistically, they'll need to raise interest rates quite a bit in order to get this inflation under control, and they'll need to do it fast. So Joe Manchin was basically calling on the Federal Reserve that they have the ability to take care of this. Let's get it done already, right? He also said, let's work on the next package here where they want to raise taxes, make the wealthy pay more, and ultimately raise the income cap for Social Security taxes. Therefore, which would ultimately help for bringing more financial solvency into the system. So this is actually pretty encouraging as well for those of you receiving Social Security, because honestly, we've been talking about this a lot lately as well, where the Social Security trust funds, according to the reports, will probably be insolvent in about 12 years or 11 years or so. And again, I know this is a very long time from now, but Joe Manchin is calling on them. Let's get something done here. Let's make sure that this country is going the right direction and make sure that we're working toward financial solvency. In other words, we've got to get something done here. You know what I mean? Like, this is getting out of control here. And basically, he went on to say that they cannot continue to put more fuel on an economy that is already on fire. So, in other words, they can't do the Build Back Better agenda. So this is no surprise, though. We already know this about the Build Back Better agenda. This has not come as like a huge shock to us, because he told us way back in December, like mid-December, before Christmas, that he's a no-go on the Build Back Better agenda. So almost 2 months ago, we already heard this out of him. But this brings us into the next updates here, talking about what they're now saying about the Build Back Better agenda, or the newly branded Build Back Better agenda. So as we do know, they're probably still working on some of these as standalone bills. In fact, Bernie Sanders was out yesterday alongside Amy Klobuchar, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But the two of them were out endorsing standalone bills and just doing what they can now to start bringing down some of these prices. For example, working on lowering prescription prices. And again, we talked about that in yesterday's video, but that's something that Bernie Sanders was working on as well. But they're now talking about implementing these standalone bills to get as much done as they possibly can right now, and ultimately just kind of break this package up. However, as we've heard from multiple lawmakers, they're talking about the Build Back Better agenda because they haven't come up with a new name for it, and they're basically just referring to that. But they're basically saying, let's break it all up, let's get as much done as we can before the midterm elections, which again is in early November. So they're still trying to work on some things now, and whatever they actually get done here is a big, question mark. We don't really know about that, but at least they're starting to break it up and starting to strategize how they can actually move forward with this. Also today, along with this inflation data, we now see more information about lawmakers and business owners, multiple different people coming out right now saying this whole situation is eating up businesses and we've got to pass another stimulus package. So the talk that I was seeing, according to the reports that I was reading, they were talking about potentially implementing another stimulus package that would be focused on businesses. Now again, just because it's focused on businesses does not mean they may not be able to add some kind of provisions in there for the people. But again, the initial talk that I was seeing today was saying, hey, we've got to pass a stimulus package focused on the businesses, which is actually interesting because we've been hearing about these 3 different packages over the last, month now? We've heard about 3 separate packages that have been proposed, and a whole lot of nothing has been done with it. But at least this whole talk about more stimulus is coming up once again. So a lot of people are starting to recognize that, yep, it's time. We've got to get something done once again here. But of course, as I always say, as I get more details, I will continue to bring that to you as we do find more information. I'll let you know. But ultimately, I know that, everybody's here isn't like a big business owner, things like this. But you never know. Sometimes these packages start out as a business survival package or like a business recovery type package, and then they add a whole bunch of provisions onto it like that, just like we saw with the CARES Act. Remember, that was one that had the PPP in it. That was for businesses. It also had unemployment benefits, and they also threw a $1,200 stimulus check in there along with the package. So ultimately, that whole thing was pretty much the framework of a business COVID relief bill at the time, and then they happened to add a little bit of relief in there for the people as well, in the form of the enhanced unemployment benefits and ultimately this stimulus check as well. So that's kind of my point, is you just got to watch this stuff closely. Now again, I just want to make it very clear so that there's no misunderstanding. I'm not saying that it's going to include a stimulus check. Honestly, we have no clue, but this is just some of the talk that I saw rolling around a little bit today. Usually when these inflation numbers come out, a lot of people start coming out and saying, hey, we've got to do this right now. We've got to get relief. We've got to take action. We've got to do something. So it's kind of interesting because usually when we get reports like this that come out, there's a lot of talking heads that hit the airwaves and a lot of people saying, oh, we got to act right now. Well, honestly, the time to act was 8 months ago. I mean, really, let's be honest with ourselves. The time to act was a long, long time ago. So these are some of the repercussions of not doing anything, is that all of a sudden, many of us are looking here and saying, where's the relief? We've got to get the relief. Where is it now? So anyway, but as a result of no relief coming, 6, 8 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, this is what we're dealing with now. So unfortunately, they're kind of behind it, like we've always kind of been this whole time for the last 2 years. But again, anything could happen at any given point, but hopefully these numbers that came out today in regards to the inflation, the statements out of the president, the statements out of Joe Manchin, hopefully some of this will actually maybe motivate them to actually get something done for the low income and the fixed income. But of course, as I get more information, I will continue to bring you those updates and let you know what's going on. But I wanted to bring you these few statements and let you know what they were saying today, as maybe the president, well, I shouldn't say maybe, the president actually acknowledged today that this inflation is causing a lot of stress for the Americans and is causing some deep discussions at the kitchen table.
Alright guys, this is all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really missed you. Hopefully I'll see you here again very, very soon. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about here in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you all. Please hit the like button on the video, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notifications bell to be notified that whenever I publish new videos for you. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.